Hi guys. On the Midori resources group on Facebook, in the last couple of days, a couple of people have been talking about putting shoe polish on a Midori, and I wanted to just explain my experience with doing that and why I personally wouldn't recommend it. So, I received this Filofax second hand, and when I received it, it had a lot of scratches on it that were just the normal kind of wear and tear when you pull it out of a bag, when you pick it up and you've got, maybe sharp nails, just the normal kind of wear and tear of daily use. And I wanted to set that back to zero. I just wanted it to be like it was when it was brand new. And I'd only seen pictures of Midoris at this point. I hadn't actually handled one. I didn't know what the leather was supposed to feel like. I didn't know what it was, supposed to look like when it was brand new. So I thought that I could put shoe polish on it to make the leather back to the original. And it was a dark brown shoe polish which matched the colour of the leather, but the trouble was, it's gone a few shades darker, so you can probably see even in daylight it looks black when it's supposed to be the brown Midori, and also it definitely has had an effect on the leather that I didn't want it to have. So I'll give you a bit of background. I'm specifically talking about Midoris today. I'm not talking about Fodoris because there are innumerable different types of leathers on Fodoris. I'm only talking about the Midori because all the leather on Midoris are exactly the same, which means that what I'm saying is universal to all Midori browns at least. I think that some people have said that the black Midoris and also the camel coloured ones sometimes feel a bit different, sometimes don't feel exactly the same as the browns. So I'm talking about the brown, but it could apply to the black and tan, although I haven't felt them, so I can't say that they're exact comparisons. So the Midori, when it gets to you brand new, you take it out of the box. It's in like a cardboard wrapper. Sorry, the camera keeps slipping. I've got hand cream on and it's sort of slipping out of my fingers. So you take it out of its nice brown packet, take it out of its bag and its tissue paper and stuff, and it has a white coating on it, which I've heard different reasons why there's a white coating on it, but that's fine. It rubs off. Just rub it off with your hands or with a tissue. And it smells, which is quite a normal thing. I've heard that some of them, I'm guessing certain batches don't actually smell, but mine definitely smell, and they smell like mothballs, but that should go within a week at the most. And then the leather itself is very soft, quite a pale brown, not a light brown, but it's hard to describe. It's like a nice nutty brown. It's not dark. It is definitely not as dark as this. It is similar to that colour there. And it kind of feels like it's slightly furry, like it's not suede or nubuck, but like it's definitely not a smooth leather, that it's more of a kind of fibrous leather, and it's very easy to scratch, so you just like sort of run your nail across it and it will scratch, which is lovely when you want to use it and show the wear and tear and show the sort of daily story of your use of it. It grows and changes and it just shows your use and love of it, and that's what it is like when you first use it. Now, there's lots of people putting different types of products on their Midori, and some people put nothing on them at all. There's all sorts of different oils and creams and things that are designed for leather and things that aren't designed for leather, such as hand cream and stuff. And then there's, just the oils from your hands and you know, just daily life stuff. I mean, you might get things on the leather, like I got a bit of milk on this here, and the fat in the milk actually scratched the or made a scar on the leather, and I've dropped stuff on it that's made sort of dark marks and things. That's just normal daily use. I mean, if you've got kids especially, you'll probably find that there's stuff being got on the leather and it stains it a bit. But there, you know, if you are going to treat your Midori, definitely do your research, because you could find something in a shop or be given something by a friend that is supposed to treat leather, and it might have an effect that you don't want it to have. So for example, there's some oils which will take all of the kind of fluffiness, you know, the kind of what I described as the sort of fibrous furry feeling off. It will make it completely smooth. There's some oils that will darken the leather, that sort of thing. Shoe polish has a really extreme effect. So if you've ever cleaned leather shoes properly, you will know that shoe polish puts on a coat of sometimes colour. You can get colourless ones, but often they do contain, you know, a shade of brown or black or something like that. And it makes it shiny, it makes it very hard wearing, it makes it scratch and scuff resistant, and I don't know if you can hear that. It repels water, it makes it very shiny if you buff it properly, and it makes it very hard wearing and very, very, very smooth. That's why I wouldn't recommend it for faux dories unless you do the research, because a lot of faux dories are made from a lot softer leathers, like a suede type of leather, a nubuck leather, especially pull-up leathers, that kind of thing. Do your research. The Midori leather with shoe polish on definitely had an effect I didn't want. I wanted the scratch, scuffed, you know, showing your everyday use type of leather. This definitely does not scratch. It is really frustrating that it doesn't scratch, because I really wanted that effect. I mean, I can do things with my nail now and that barely made a scratch. Do you see just there? Okay, in this light it looks like it has, but in, you know, just daily use of, you know, holding it in your hand, that will come out. And I didn't want that. I didn't want it to be shiny. I didn't want it to have that kind of dark colour, so in certain lights it almost looks black, and it's only in direct sunlight and sort of moving it around that you can see that it has different shades of brown in there. To look at it head on, as you have been with through my camera, it does look very monotone, which is definitely not an effect I wanted. And it's just not the leather that I wanted it to be. And also there's an effect that you may think is quite strange, because this does look shiny. If you buff shoe polish on leather, it does produce a high shine. Not like a patent, but definitely picks up the light, as you can see through the light coming through the window. But if you hold, or if I hold it quite tightly like this, like I do, it picks up the oils from my fingers, and that makes actually dull patches where my fingertips and the kind of ball of my hand sit on the leather. That makes dull patches, which is quite annoying because you get a handprint on it. Yeah, so I have tried to remove the shoe polish. I have tried all sorts of techniques. I did a lot of research on the internet. I used baby wipes, I used astringent face toners, I tried to heat up the wax so it would melt a bit and wipe it off with a kitchen towel. I've used abrasive cloths. I have, you know, really gone at it with elbow grease, and nothing really takes it off. I mean, you can see a bit of brown coming off on, you know, whatever tissue or pad you're using, but it definitely doesn't make the difference that I want it to be. It definitely doesn't get it back to how the leather would have been. I did actually buy another Midori because I ruined the leather on this one. I say ruined because it definitely didn't have the effect I wanted it to, and it spoilt it for me. I say ruin the leather. You may think I want that effect, but I didn't. So I actually bought another Midori because I wanted one that it would, you know, show the wear and tear that I've made on it, not the wear and tear that somebody else made on it, which was how this one came to me, and not, you know, that shiny shoe polishness. I wanted this to show my daily use, which it does, which is great. But it was an expensive mistake for me to make because I've spent basically £40 more than I would have done. But there you go, lesson learned. I'm not going to do it again, definitely not. What I would say is, I'm not saying don't do it. I'm not completely, you know, unrecommending it. I am saying really think about what effect you want. If you want that kind of natural, scratchy, scuffed Midori that shows your daily use, don't use shoe polish. Do your research, get other people's opinions, and use something that is designed to create the effect that you want. Or you don't have to use anything at all. I mean, the oils from your hands will moisturize the leather. The only reason that I've moisturized this one is because there is a very big crease down the spine, which I'm worried will crack one day. So if you want that kind of high shine, scratch resistant type of leather, then go for it. But do your research, make sure you want that kind of effect, because unless there is some technique that I've not heard of, there is no way to get the shoe polish off. In a couple of months, if you change your mind, you are going to really regret, because you won't be able to take it off. So I'll just show you some comparisons between the leather before my camera dies. It might cut out abruptly. So you can see that there's this gorgeous sort of nutty, warm brown with a red tinge to it on the one on the right, which is my second one, which I haven't put shoe polish on. It's also got dark patches where my hand has been holding it, either across the spine here or across where the two covers meet. It's scratched and scuffed in places. It shows some scars and things, which at first I didn't like, but now I know they're just, you know, show how I've used it. And it, in certain places, like here in the corner, it definitely is similar to how it was when I first received it. The leather has transformed over time, which is quite normal, because obviously unless you're keeping it pristine, it's going to absorb oils, it's going to, you know, just take normal daily use kind of effects that daily use has on it and transform the leather, which it's supposed to. Whereas this one is very dark, a lot more shiny. So, I mean, this is the same light that's coming through the window, and that's almost a white light because it's reflecting off the very dark leather, and that is kind of more of a soft light, so it is not as shiny. It's very one colour, not it doesn't sort of there's no variation in colour like there is in my unshoe polished one, and it is definitely, even though this one isn't scratched up much, it does have that kind of scarred nature to it. This one definitely doesn't have the scars. If you want a scratch and scuff resistant one that feels very smooth